Listening, TLR. Listening, TLR.
I should have left that button alone. 30,000 people were trained in military camps at the border between the United States and Canada. So they have all them local, they recruited the local Polish communities who eventually served in General Joseph Holler's Blue Army. The regiments farmed in America arrived in Poland in full uniform, armed and well trained in accordance to U.S. Army guidelines. So America helped them. They give them a war loan of $176 million, right? And then, as they said, 200 tanks, 300 planes, war material, and food for the Polish army. And you telling me in a time, so Poland know what it is to be invaded and to be attacked. They know what it is. And for them to be turning away black folk in a time 2022 and they turning away black folk, that show you literally how racist. They know what it is to stand right there at that border. And those black folk, they Africans, they actually were students in Poland studying. It's not like they deal with a situation where there's a large number of black people and you know you gotta have everyone line up and wait and all that stuff, right? They were dealing with students, young people that were studying in Ukraine, and everybody trying to get their pass and trying to move to the border that they can get out of danger, get out of the war, and you have them lined up there, and the American media don't even cover. Don't even cover the story as the way it's supposed to be. They mention it because I'm going to give them credit for that. But they didn't even cover it the way it's supposed to be covered. They didn't call it out for the way it's supposed to be called out. So some of us are paying attention. I said that last night. I said that the night before, that some of us paying attention as to the discrimination and the discriminatory behavior of the general between both borders. Even in Ukraine too. In the time of war. That's crazy right there, yo. That's freaking crazy. Right there. BBC covering it. BBC covering it. So let's check out something else right here. Because if they don't cover it, we will cover it. Right? We'll talk about it because we have to talk about it. Because then again, any one of us could be over there and going through the same thing. So we'll talk about it. That's what we are here for. Let's change over. Wrong one. All right, let's change over. Let's talk about it.
I was begging. The official literally looked me in my eye and said in his language, only Ukrainians, that's all. That if you are black, you should walk.
There we go.
I'm currently in Debrecen, Hungary. I got in like 10 a.m. today. Today is the 28th of February. It wasn't easy. On Friday at 8 a.m., I was on my way to Poland. I took a commercial taxi and the taxi couldn't stay on the line of cars because literally cars had been there for 2 days. And when we dropped, on the Google map, it was saying a 1 hour walk. And I was like, a 1 hour walk is nothing, you know, if it's getting us there on time. And we walked.
Yeah, they lost it.
Walked and
they lost it in the news. That's what they do.
Decreasing.
Because it's not important. That's why.
The term walking is traumatizing me. The term walking, I walked for 12 good hours. And it's not an exaggeration. The traffic warden saw me and said I should go to a shelter to sleep. And I slept, and he said the next day that there is a bus going from that shelter straight to the Polish border. And when it was time to get on this bus, the Ukrainians said, just Ukrainians, literally as a black person. I even lied that I was pregnant. They didn't care. I was begging. The official literally looked me in my eye and said in his language, only Ukrainians, that's all. That if you are black, you should walk. And that was an additional 8 hours from where we were. By car, it was like 30 minutes. So we had to walk additional 8 hours. The problem isn't at the Polish border, it is at the Ukrainian border. Because you have to step out at the Ukrainian border to get on the Polish side. And the Ukrainians are only prioritizing their citizens. They don't care. They will push you. They will beat you. If you can make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't. Like, I took a nap and I still felt like I was still walking, like I hadn't crossed over. It's not fair. Like, we're just begging to go. I literally had to go back to my city after that experience, re-strategize, and took a train to Hungary. It wasn't even easy getting to Hungary. We had to pay. Those that didn't have money to pay, what would they do? I couldn't help anybody because I was fighting for my life. It is a traumatizing experience, and I don't know where I'm going from now. I literally have to re-strategize in Hungary, try to get my ticket back to Nigeria because it's not safe. This place is not, if your skin is dark, you're at a disadvantage.
If your skin is dark, you're at a disadvantage. We all know that. We all know that. But let me tell you though, yeah, that's sad. That is so sad. Even in the time of war, and skin color shouldn't matter at all. These people are ensuring that their own get through first. My question is, right? My question is, would America and Canada do us the same thing too? Would US and Canada do us the same thing too? Do you think they would do us the same thing too? If something should happen in the United States and black folk trying to get to Canada, would the same thing happen? I mean, it sounds like a wild question, but we have to ask though, with US and Canada, would US treat us the same way? We wouldn't, yeah, you're right. I like that. It wouldn't surprise you at all. And the fact that it wouldn't surprise you at all, it shows that's sad, yo. That is so sad. Extremely sad. Hold on a second. So that's in 1920s, right? About the story. In the years 1919 to 1920, Herbert Hoover, who later became president of the United States, right, led American relief. Hold on, let me see. Let me move this bad boy right here. Led American Relief Administration, the ARA, which organized economic support for Central and Eastern Europe from March 1919, right? Hoover's mission also helped the people of Poland. The ARA provide, among others, medicine, clothing, food, created the network of soup kitchen, and established orphanage for the homeless children. That's how America helped out Poland. Of the particular importance of the military support of the American pilots fighting in the 7th Fighter Squadron established on December 21st, 1918, active Eastern Polaska, I hope I'm not butchering that word, the American volunteers who arrived in Lviv on October 16, 1919, were commanded by Major Cedric Frontaloy, 16 Americans served it with their Polish counterpart and fought in 1920 against the Red Army. So even on the battlefield, not just that the Americans provided help with food, clothing, and all that stuff, and it's setting up soup kitchens and all that for them. They gave them a loan. They trained the soldiers and everything against the Red Army. The American Polish squadron was one of the bravest air unit war in Balishkevik, Russia. The request of the American squadron was named after the hero of Poland in the United States. The pilots were also decorated too. So America helped. America helped. You see, it's not like anyone can pick their color at birth. Why racism? Why? It's stupid. That is so true. We can't pick our color at birth. We don't get to choose the family that we are born in. We don't get to choose our mothers. We don't get to choose our fathers and our siblings. We don't choose our family. We don't get to pick where we are being born. And that's one of the things that the world have, the problems that the world have, is discriminating based on race, color, creed, and all that stuff. The American federal law does protect against discrimination of anything that falls within the race, color, creed, religion, and all that stuff. That's federal law. And America should highlight, the American media should highlight what's going on. You see, I make sure that I give some history of how America helped Poland, right? That's what I just did. They helped them. So Poland now in a position to help Ukraine, that's good. I'm not saying that they're doing a bad job, but it's the discrimination of the people of color that's being washed out of central media, tossed far out, washed out, got lost, right? That's what I'm here to talk about. And that's what I'm here to pick at. That's what I'm dissatisfied with. The lady just say that she had to walk, right? She had to walk 8 hours. 8 hours while the other rest of people got through the border. Not just on the Poland side, but the Ukrainians. So they getting beat the fuck up pretty much and they still discriminating. They getting invaded as we speak. They getting invaded as we speak and they still discriminating. How is that? That's what I'm talking about. Hold on a second. Let me pull the other one up. Because most of what you find, where's that one that I saw? Hold on a second. Most of what you see has been lost. Even if it was mentioned, it was some failed promise to bring it back, right? All right. Let's bring this one up right here. Let's bring this right here. Did I bring this one up already? No, I didn't. Let's bring this one up right here. And here. bring this one up right here. Right, and there we go.
In Ukraine has also exposed the racist tendencies in the Western world. Thousands of students
Did I
from
bring this
Africa
one up
and
earlier?
Asia are left stranded at the Ukrainian border, but reports of alleged segregation and violence in the Polish-Ukraine border has caused tensions. Nigeria has now hit out at the security officials for their treatment towards their citizens and students. The president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, evoked the UN convention. He said that the color of passport or their skin should not make any difference. The Nigerian presidency laid out several instances of reported discrimination by both the Ukrainian as well as the Polish military soldiers. The government cited media reports and videos circulating on social media.
On est là exposé dehors avec le froid qu'il y a ici. On ne nous donne toujours pas où nous abriter au fait. On est exposé avec le froid.
The African Union also condemned the human rights violation. In a statement, the union emphasized that Africans are being singled out and called for more empathy, saying that all people should have the same rights, notwithstanding the nationality or racial identity. South Africa's foreign ministry spokesperson said that South African students are also subjected to the harsh treatment. The spokesperson said that South African envoys are ensuring assistance to stranded South Africans. Ghana has also sent its embassy officials to the border points to assist in their evacuations.
Some of my friends are still there and I'm very worried. I text them to know how they're doing, if they have food or water, because right now the stores are closed.
Yeah,
so
and the attacks are getting worse.
Very, very worse. And hopefully they get out of Ukraine safe and no harm comes upon them.
Poland's ambassador to Nigeria dismissed the claims of mistreatment. She said that invalid documents have been accepted and COVID restrictions have been lifted so that equal treatment is meted out.
Also, they lying too.
To all people.
I know them students ain't lying. All right, so let's take this back before we get our behinds. All right, so they're dismissing the reports. And then the African countries have to send their ambassadors to help, to aid. The only good thing that I saw came out of that video a second ago was the fact that they accepted invalid documents. I mean, in a time of crisis, any damn document would be needed anyway. But I agree with you. Don't let it go unnoticed. We must still talk about it. We highlight it and we talk about it. We don't stop talk about it. The African countries have to send their officials to help. And that's good. It's really good that they have to. No, it's good that they did it, but that the reason that they have to is not good. That's like if I send my son over there, right? That's like if I send my son over there and America have to send diplomats just to help to get him up because he's black. Ain't that right? Ain't that right? And this should serve as, this right here should serve as an idea that should, in case things go south real fast, our ass is going to get left behind, yo. I see that if I go to certain countries now in 2022, yeah, that serve. That if I go, my ass still on my own. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. Maybe I got to be some kind of high official or some kind of ranking member or some way recognized. It means that my ass still is on my own. Just me being a regular person. No upper social class attributes. Nothing upper social class that's being attached to me. Right? It still means that I'm going to be on my own with nothing to represent me should in case there's a fallout or breakout in whatever country that I go. Regardless of being a citizen of here or there, just the freaking fact that my color is of a darker skin tone, that I'm gonna be discriminated against. And that's why you see the unfortunate situation with the people of color. And not just only the unfortunate situation, but you also see that it's being washed out with only just a few people, just a few channels highlighting what's going on. It doesn't have much traction, the traction that it ought to have, right? And it tells us a lot, because let me flip over to the side of should in case there's a bigger disaster like a worldwide breakout of war or an alien invasion or whatever it is that can happen or might happen, right? The thing about it is that it shows that we will be left behind. We will be considered last. We will be shown that you don't matter. Even in a time of need, it'll continue to remind us that even in times of trouble, human need, not just where you're from, just human need, it shows still that we are still lagging behind. Yes, we have gained a lot of traction, especially within the Western government systems. You know, we are being more recognized. It's in America, for example, we are being more recognized. You know, we are being given more opportunity to have, to build, to do, and stuff like that. But in tragic situation, it's still there's still a lot of systematic discrimination that is being formed against us. It's still there. And it's still there to the point where it not just it won't stop with us. It will continue to to affect us, and more importantly, it will continue to affect our children, right? And maybe our grandchildren, our our four children. Racism still exists. Yeah, you're right. We are being constantly reminded. It doesn't matter. We are always being reminded that we're still behind and we don't matter. We gain a lot of traction, yes, but we are still behind. And that's what this is reminding us about. That's what this is still showing us. Hey, man. All right. Let's run this one right here. I'm gonna go through one more after this, and then that's it right there. All right. This is Al Jazeera. All right. Let's run this one right here. Hold on a sec. Let's move this up a little bit. There we go. All right.
Indian students stuck in Ukraine are accusing officials of discriminating against them and pushing them back from getting to the border. Videos have been posted on social media said to show black people being prevented from boarding a train and left stranded at a railway station in Lviv as Ukrainians were allowed on. Others said they were turned back from the border and were even being shot at.
Look at them. You see that right there? Let's go over that one right there again. Let's watch that.
Being shot at. Like this video, Indian students claim Ukrainian guards on the Polish border beat them up and didn't allow them to cross. Tens of thousands of international students have been stuck in Ukraine since the war
This is Ukraine, a country that's been invaded.
started. On Skype with us now from Warsaw is Monika Matus, a human rights activist working for the NGO Grupa Granica. Monika, thank you for your time. In your opinion, what's happening here? Why would, I mean, there's a lot of international students in Ukraine, as I've learned. Why the discrimination against them?
We think it's really just honestly first of all, I think it's on both sides. So the Ukrainian border guards are preventing people from passing through, and then the Polish border guards are not better. You know, in this case, they are also actually stopping people and not letting them in. We don't know why exactly. I mean, I think it's just a question of not having Ukrainian passport. We hear about students from African countries, from India, from many other Asian countries. We also hear about people from countries that, you know, the people who actually were trying to flee the war in other countries, so Yemen and Syria.
Mm-hmm.
There's also people, right now we are solving the case of a Yemeni boy who is stuck at the border in
Hold on, does the paperwork matter though? I don't think the paperwork should matter. It's war, invalid, whatever document. As a matter of fact, the way I see it is that ain't no paperwork should be required, and people need to move. I mean, that's just my belief about it.
Who is trying to pass through, and there has been huge issues and problems to let him actually enter Poland. I don't know if it's solved yet right now, because I've just been on the phone about this case. And so I don't know what's exactly the reason. I think it's really just an issue of not having Ukrainian passport. And I just want to add that, you know, the racism from...
yeah, but does it matter though?
At least Polish government and Polish authorities has been widely known already. We criticized the fact that, you know, the border patrol is actually still operating on the northern Polish-Belarusian border, and they are still not letting people in and apply for asylum, whereas we are rightly so allowing Ukrainians fleeing war.
Exactly. She making excuse for their poor judgment. That's what she's doing. Does it matter? A country that they were occupying, that they were staying for studying, is under attack, and they trying to move. Does it matter though? They shooting at them. Gosh.
Or, you know, enter EU without any issues, without any problems. This is bluntly unfair, I think.
Do you know if any government, any officials from either side are actually acknowledging there's an issue there, or to them are they just viewing it as, well, it's a chaotic situation, we're suddenly in a war situation and there's so many people flooding the borders?
I cannot speak for Ukrainian border guards, but the Polish border patrol, yesterday they issued a very short statement on Twitter, I think in reaction to all of those videos and news on social media, saying that we need to stop fake news because it's actually fake and they are allowing everybody in. Well, I mean, maybe it is true, maybe they are allowing everybody in, but it actually takes quite...
The idea is not that they are allowing everyone in. The idea is that they are discriminating. That's what it is. Discriminating doesn't mean you're going to stop somebody from doing something. It generally refers to a particular action due to race, creed, religion, and all that implies to whatever identify a person specifically. That's what it is. So for example, you can tell two people to run. But if you go and take longer to prepare one of them to run, that can be due to their race, due to whatever identify them, their religion, their skin color, and everything that identify that person. If you allow your action to delay that person, then that's an act of discrimination. Yes, you allow them to run, and that's the thing. That's what still happened though. In a lot of situation, in a lot of jobs, especially here in America, that's exactly what happened in a lot of situation. That they'll tell you, oh yeah, everybody's allowed to work here. But what they're not telling you is the actions that they have done based upon a person's identifying the identifiable categories that fall. That's an act of discriminate, which constitutes for an act of discrimination. I hope I'm not losing anyone at all. Oh yeah, it does. The frustration that goes with it, right? Anyway, I'm gonna let her finish.
Much longer time for people without Ukrainian passports to cross the border, and quite often they are moved back to the end of the queue.
Monica, thank you so much for your time. Another part of this story which we must address, and we thank you for.
Yeah, so that's what it is. And I sure hope I'm not gonna stay long much after this, but I sure hope that these stories that these people have, I sure hope that they don't get lost or camouflaging the whole thing pretty much. I sure hope that it doesn't get diluted in such a manner that it just literally simply go unnoticed. Yeah, in a time of war and a time of chaos, I do understand that a lot of things happen that don't get talked about. But now we have the technology and we have a responsibility to ensure that regardless, we have to stand up for our people. We have to ensure that everyone gets the same treatment, and it shouldn't be because you have a certain color that you are being treated differently. This is a modern time, and there's still systematic ideologies that still roam in a lot of our minds, pretty much, that we have to learn. You see, ideologies aren't healthy at all. And I'm gonna do a show pretty much talking about ideology and why ideologies are a part of the poisoning of today's society, of our society today. It poisoned the mindset of our society today for a large number of reasons. And I'm gonna talk about ideology and stuff like that, and which is why ideology plays an important role for racism. I'm gonna talk about that on one of my shows not far from now. Because it's very important that we understand these things, we highlight them, and we acknowledge them. It's very important that we do that because that's our responsibility to do. But I tell you, I say this. I sure hope that the African folk get their chance to get out of there pretty much just like everyone else. Every last one of them, I sure hope that they get that chance to get out of there just like everyone else, to try to flee based on a bad situation. And I'm, disappointed with these reports. I gotta be honest about it. When I first heard it, I was really surprised, because in a time of war, you're not really expecting that discrimination in a certain situation will occur. The borders to me should be open to ensure that everyone have a chance to get out who don't want to fight or who can't fight, to give everyone a chance to get out if they really want to help, and not placating. Or discrimination should even be of the thought of both the Polish and the Ukrainian border. I want to make sure that I highlight that part. And I see it for what it is, call it out for what it is, and we must end systematic racism. Have to. Very important we do that. Very, very, very important that we understand and we highlight these things. So I sure hope everyone gets out, even the Ukrainian folk. I sure hope that they gets out and everyone can move along and try to at least somewhat rebuild their life in such a, from such an awful situation. Very, very awful. Very, very sad. And I'm sure God goes with everyone in that terrible situation. Lay a hand over everyone and, try to ensure that everyone make it out safe. Keep the ones who have lost family members in prayer. Very important that we do that. Very important that we pray for them, keep our hands in prayer for them, and end discrimination. That's what I want to close on. So, I just want to mention that on a quick show tonight, quick topic. Sure hope everyone eat good, sleep good, enjoy life. And peace. I'm out.
Listening, listening.